It's the all-new J-Mac News Show
You haven't heard the news until you've heard J-Mac.
on KSL News Radio.
Good afternoon. Happy Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. Happy Cooler Wednesday, at least cooler than yesterday. So glad that you are here, and you arrived right on time for the news attack.
This is the J-Mac News Attack.
Here we go. 5 points in 5 minutes today about how our candidates and elected officials are using the terror attacks in Turkey for nothing more than political gain. How they are doing that, I will illustrate that. Again, 5 points in 5 minutes.
Takeaway number 5.
President Obama briefly addressed the nation in statements from Ottawa, Canada. He's expected to speak again at 1 o'clock. We'll dip into that. Here's some of what he said.
I had a chance to speak to President Erdogan earlier today to discuss with him not only how heartbroken we have been by the images of the injured and those killed, but also to reaffirm our strong commitment to partner with Turkey, with NATO, with the broad-based alliance that we've structured around the world to fight ISIL.
I have a question for you as part of the 5 points in 5 minutes. Why is it that when an attack happens here in the U.S., it is about assault weapons and weapons bans, yet when it happens somewhere else, it's all about ISIL and terrorism? Could this be that it's because in other countries like Turkey, they already have the gun legislation that Obama is screaming for here, but it isn't stopping the attacks there? Very interesting question, if you ask me.
Number 4.
And then we have Donald Trump. He wants to be the commander-in-chief. So what is he saying about the attacks in Turkey?
So we can't do waterboarding, but they can do chopping off heads, drowning people in steel cages. They can do whatever they want to do.
So he wants to make it about waterboarding and torture. Well, at least he's talking about the enemy, not trying to focus on somebody else. But there's no indication that waterboarding or other forms of torture would have stopped these or any other attacks. Here's a heads up. The enemy knows what waterboarding is. They're trained to deal with it. He, like the other candidates, is just playing into the raw emotions of the people without offering anything substantial to really fight the problem.
Takeaway number 3.
Number 3 takeaway, about how our candidates and elected officials are just playing politics with the attacks in Turkey. Hillary Clinton spoke about the attacks last night at a town hall meeting. Oh, wait. My bad. She didn't mention it. Not a single word about the number one enemy of the United States carrying off a successful terrorist attack in one of the most fortified airports we have in the world. Not a single word on the day of the attacks. What does that say?
Number 2
takeaway about how our elected officials and politicians are using the terrorist attack in Turkey for political gain. President Obama took all of 2 minutes today to address the latest attack. You heard some of his statement. Here's a little bit more.
Let me just publicly extend my deepest condolences to the people of Turkey for the terrible attack that took place in Istanbul.
This has to be the least inspiring, least reassuring, least invested statement I think I've ever heard from him so far. I believe this president wants to focus on all of the little things that really are not the job of the president, but when it comes to fighting this enemy and reassuring the nation and bringing us together, he just basically said, well, so that happened.
And J-Mac News Attack. Takeaway number 1.
How are we ever going to fight this enemy if every candidate, even our commander-in-chief, is just going to choose to cram these attacks into their own political platform? If it happens here, it's about gun control. If it happens there, it's about ISIS. If it happens anywhere, it's about waterboarding and torture. Does anybody out there really have a solution that will work or that doesn't fit nice and conveniently into their political platform? So far, I don't hear it. So far, I don't think so.
The J-Mac News Attack.